This is the 74th video in a series of videos that study the 101 laws of the success mindset code. In this video, we're going to explore the 74th law, the law of breakthrough. The law of breakthrough teaches us that in order to evolve, prosper, and unlock a higher financial reality, we must be willing to detach from everything that has already fulfilled its purpose in our lives. It sounds simple, but for most people, this is one of the hardest movements to make after midlife. As the years pass, we accumulate habits, relationships, environments, and emotional patterns that once made sense but now hold us back. And when you are trying to rebuild your financial life later in life, every ounce of stagnation becomes heavier, every limiting relationship becomes more expensive, and every outdated belief becomes a silent tax on your growth. Breakthrough is not only about walking away from what hurts. Sometimes it is about walking away from what feels comfortable but no longer helps. Think about how many people you know who complain about their financial situation yet stay surrounded by voices that diminish their ideas. They have dreams, but their environment constantly reminds them of their limitations. The law of breakthrough reveals that the environment you tolerate is the environment you financially become. That was the case for Daniel, who spent years in a circle of friends who mocked any attempt to start a new business or improve life. Every time he expressed a new idea, he was met with sarcasm. On the surface, it looked like harmless humor, but internally, every comment planted doubt. When Daniel finally allowed himself to step away from that circle, something interesting happened. Silence. Silence to think. Silence to dream. Silence to build. And within that silence, opportunities appeared. We often underestimate the power of mental clutter. Old beliefs, limiting habits, emotional attachment to the past. These things occupy space, and prosperity needs room to enter. Financial breakthroughs often require emotional divorces, from fear, from guilt, from the expectation of others. Many people don't rebuild wealth because they are still emotionally married to the version of themselves that failed. They cling to the identity of someone who just can't make money, and this identity becomes a prison. When we reach a certain age, the pressure to stay the same increases. Society whispers, "It's too late to change." Friends say, "Just be grateful with what you have." Family expects the old version of you to remain convenient, but the law of breakthrough tells you something different. If you don't cut what no longer fits, life will painfully cut it for you later. Think about Emma, who spent more than a decade in a job that never fulfilled her. She feared change. She feared uncertainty. The routine felt safe, even though it silently drained her energy. One day she asked herself, "What am I actually winning by staying?" That single question triggered the breakthrough. When she allowed herself to leave, she discovered a new professional path that matched her talents. The same logic applies to our financial life. Many remain in the same economic patterns not because they lack skill, but because they lack the courage to rupture. Breakthrough always hurts before it heals. It creates temporary discomfort because your nervous system is trained to protect the known. That's why so many people stay financially stuck in familiar pain instead of taking the risk of unknown growth. But prosperity doesn't flow toward comfort zones. Prosperity flows toward courage. When you rupture with what limits you, you open space for what elevates you. This is why, after a certain age, financial reinvention becomes an act of pruning. You remove what no longer bears fruit, not because it was bad, but because its cycle ended. Breakthrough honors cycles. It understands that staying where you are is also a decision, with a cost. To apply this law, you must identify what needs to be left behind. Start with the obvious: habits that sabotage your progress, environments that numb your ambition, relationships that belittle your growth, and beliefs that keep you financially small. Ask yourself sincerely, who was I trying to please by staying the same? Many breakthroughs are prevented by the weight of other people's expectations. The fear of disappointing others becomes more important than the desire to honor our own path. But prosperity demands sovereignty. When you choose to grow, you inevitably trigger discomfort around you. Some will interpret your change as betrayal. Others will call it arrogance. That's okay. Breakthrough is not designed to be applauded by the past. It exists to serve your future. Another important aspect of breakthrough is vision. If you rupture without clarity, you create emptiness. If you rupture with clarity, you create expansion. Ask yourself, what financial identity am I stepping into? Who do I become after this decision? Breakthrough is a doorway, not a destination. It opens possibilities, but you must walk through them with intention. Some people cut relationships, but keep the limiting beliefs those relationships implanted. Others quit bad jobs, but carry the scarcity mindset into the next one. Breakthrough is not just external, it is internal. The real rupture is with the narrative that says, I am not capable. Age brings wisdom, but it can also bring resignation. Many people after midlife internalize the belief that they missed their window. They don't even try because they believe the best years are gone. The law of breakthrough destroys that myth. You are not late. You are seasoned. The years behind you gave you intelligence, scars, references, emotional maturity, resilience, and a much sharper ability to choose. When you combine maturity with courage, financial reinvention becomes powerful. Breakthrough. At a mature stage carries depth. Let's address another truth. Cutting ties with people who hold you back does not make you disloyal. Loyalty to your own evolution must come first. Some relationships were perfect for who you used to be, not who you are becoming, and that's okay. Honor the past by letting it stay where it belongs. Don't drag old versions of yourself into a future that demands new behavior. Prosperity is not just about earning, it is about unlearning. Sometimes, the most financially powerful action you can take is deleting a phone number, saying no to an invitation, resigning from a draining environment, or trusting a new path. Breakthrough also means being available for the unknown. When you make space, the universe respects that space. New opportunities appear when old distractions leave. But you must be willing to feel the discomfort of emptiness before the new arrives. Many people abort their breakthrough because they rush to fill the void. Growth needs patience. Breakthrough needs faith. So today, ask yourself, what cycle must end so a new financial chapter can begin? What behavior must die for your prosperity to be born? What environment no longer reflects the person you choose to be? Your future is built by the ruptures you allow today. When you honor this law, you step into authenticity. You step into choice. And you finally give yourself permission to transform, not out of survival, but out of vision. Did you like this video? Then you know what to do. Hit like, leave a comment, share it, and subscribe. Remember, this content is just the beginning. In the link below, in the comments, you'll find something special to keep growing.